Since my last Canva mobile app Android tutorial, Canva has updated a bunch of things. So I am doing this updated Canva tutorial for you to show you all of the new features like the background remover, the animations, the new text styles, the music you can add, and a lot of other things. So if you're ready to learn about all the new things Canva has to offer to make great graphic designs, make sure to give me a thumbs up down below, subscribe for more informative tutorials, and keep on watching. So I have Canva downloaded on my phone, and here it is on my apps list. So let's go ahead and click on that. And this is what your home page will look like. We are going to go over everything Canva has to offer, just so in the future when you need something, you know exactly where to find it and how it works. And then later on in the tutorial, we'll get into how to actually create designs from scratch or how to use their templates that they have for you. With that said, at the very top, we have Canva's search. If you tap on that, you can literally type anything you want into this search bar. It's just like Google. If you type in family, it will find a design for you to use to create anything you want regarding a family. So we have a family newsletter, a photo collage, a family tree. And it works like that with pretty much any keywords. If you can think of it, they most likely have something for you. But here below that, we also have recent. So these are your recent searches. And below that, we have suggested. So if you wanted to create an animated social media graphic, Instagram post, Facebook, all of that they have for you here. And if none of that is what you want, you can always do a custom size by clicking this plus button at the very bottom. Here you can choose your height, your width, and you can even change it from pixels to inches, and then just create a design from scratch that way. If you were to choose one of their suggested, this is what it would look like. You come to a page where you can start off with a blank design, or you come to different designs that they have ready made for you. These are all made by expert designers, and all you have to do is choose the design you want, go in and change the colors, change the text, the font, and just customize it to fit your needs, which we're going to get into here shortly, how to customize these templates and even start fresh with one of your own. Going back to the home page where we were to start with, if you keep scrolling, there's just many other options for you to start creating. At the top, we have blanks, then we have Instagram posts, logos, Facebook, and then the blue plus button is just basically another way for you to start creating. Here you can find the different things that they have to offer as well. But moving along, in the bottom bar next to home, we have designs. And this is where you will find the designs that you've created in the past. So if I scroll through here, you will see that I use Canva to create collages for my reselling business, for Poshmark, Macari, and then I use it, let's see, for my YouTube thumbnails, of course. Sometimes I will also use it to create graphics for my videos when I'm editing. There's so many things that I do here on Canva, and here under designs is where you will find everything you've ever created. And you can also use the search Canva feature at the top to easily find one of your previously created designs. And if you add a title that's easy to find, that will be super helpful. The last thing I'll touch on with your designs here is that there are some things you can do with them by just clicking on the top right. The first thing you can do is click in this white square that's on the left hand corner, and if you tap on multiple at a time, you can organize them into different folders. Here towards the bottom you will see, or you can trash them all together. This is an easy way to quickly clean up your designs tab to keep it nice and organized. But aside from these check marks to manage your designs, you can also click these three dots on the top right hand corner, and that will allow you to make edits to this design, make a copy, again, move it to a folder, download it, get a link so that you can share it with others, or again, trash it. Moving along, on the bottom bar next to designs, we have menu, and here's where you will manage your Canva account. The very first option is this little down arrow next to your profile picture. Click that down arrow and you can go to get a link for you to be able to refer friends and get credits so that you can buy premium pictures for free. You can sign out here. And then the other important thing to note is that here's where you can get to your account settings. Once in account settings, here you can change your username, your email. Here's where you will take care of your billing and payment options. And then we have print orders, which you will see later on in the video. Aside from just creating digital designs, you can also order t-shirt designs, business cards, flyers. You can order prints directly from Canva, and here's where you will go to manage those kinds of things. Back to the menu, I'm going to go over some of the most important things that you have to choose from here. The first one being brand kit. Now, I'm pretty sure that brand kits are only for the Canva Pro accounts, meaning you pay a monthly fee, but I'm not completely sure. I'm going to go over it just in case you're interested in this though. Brand kit is basically a place for you to store everything you use to brand your designs. It's very important to keep a logo and your colors, your fonts consistent across your designs that you're using all over your social media platforms and your websites, just to brand yourself and make your business recognizable. And this is where Canva comes in, making that easy for you. You can, first thing is upload a logo here so that it's ready to use on hand as you're creating designs. You don't have to upload it again and again. It will always be ready for you here. Then we have brand colors. At the top is a palette that I created and I named it Main, as you can see here at the top. And these are just the colors that I use the most throughout my thumbnails, my website, and most of the things that I create here on Canva. Below that is another palette, and this is just a test palette that I created for a different tutorial. So I'm going to show you now how to add your own palettes. You're going to click on Add and Discover Palettes here, and then the first thing you'll see is that they have some that they've already combined for you with different names. Here's Berry Blues, Pasture of Dreams, and they've just expertly already combined these colors for you. So if you like one of these, you can go ahead and click on it and it will be added to your list of brand colors here, or you can always click on Add a Custom Palette instead, and then it will add a blank brand color palette and you can start customizing it. First thing would be to add a title by clicking on Untitled Palette and inputting a new name. I'm going to put test 3, and then click this add button below and start choosing your colors. To choose a color, you can move this circle around, and you can also move this slider around until you come to a color that you like, and then click done, and that will add the color there for you. And then you'll just do the same thing to keep adding more colors. Then we come to brand fonts, and it works in a similar way as brand colors. Basically, you're going to have fonts that you use all the time ready to go here so that they're easy to find as you're creating your designs. The very first one is your title heading, then we have a subheading, and then we have your body text. So you just click this pencil icon next to each one, find your font that you like, and as we scroll here, you'll see that some of them have crowns next to them and some of them don't. The ones that don't are free to use, and the ones with crowns are only for Canva Pro accounts. So select your font, select your size, and when you're done, that will be added here to your brand font list. But you can also upload your own font. I just looked for these on Google, downloaded the file, and uploaded it here to Canva. Now I'm here back at the menu tab, and next we're going to go over this content planner. This is a neat thing that they recently added, and basically it's just an easy way for you to keep your designs that you have scheduled to go live on certain days organized in a calendar. So if I click on tomorrow's date, which is January 7th, I can click this plus blue button at the bottom right hand corner, and then from here I can create a design, or I can choose a design that I've already created. So we're going to click on choose design. I chose this Canva Pro tutorial thumbnail, which I'm not going to be uploading this to social media, but just to show you a little overview of how this would work. You're going to schedule where you want to upload it to and select the pages, because this particular design has 8 pages. So you select the page that you actually want to be published and you write your caption so that it's ready to go, and then you can save it as a draft or actually go ahead and schedule. Next thing we'll go over is the folders option that's here, where it says all your folders. Click on that, and at the very top you'll have the default folders. Every Canva account will have these, which is all your design, premium, images and logos, graphics that you've purchased in the past will be there, any designs that have been shared with you via Canva, any uploads, music, images, audios, all of that will be found here on upload. And then the bottom ones are the ones that I've created. These are the folders that I've created in the past. So to create a folder, you're going to click the plus button on the top right, and then you'll just name your folder here. You can enter an email address so you can share this folder with someone else. And if you click this down arrow, you can set some settings like if they can view it, edit it, or just share it. And then just click create folder. And here at the top, if you tap on that star, this will make the folder appear up high on your folders list. With these 3 dots on the top right, you can upload this folder, you can share it with someone else, you can always come here to rename it, or you can create a new folder within this folder so that you can keep things even further organized, or you can delete it. Let's go ahead and go back where we came from. And the last thing here on folders I want to show you is this trash folder that's at the very bottom. This is here because when you delete things from your designs, where we talked about earlier down here, it will not be permanently deleted. It will be added here to the trash, and you'll have to come in here, tap on the design, click these 3 dots, and from here you can either restore the graphic or you can delete it permanently. So nothing is ever permanently deleted from your Canva designs. If you ever accidentally delete something, you can always come here to restore it. And that is pretty much everything that has to do with the home screen and where to find things. The last thing I just want to share that I didn't mention is that the Canva app and the Canva web version sync together. Whatever you create here on the Canva app, you can access on Canva web and vice versa. Now let's get into editing a template. So I'm going to click on Instagram post here, and I'm going to search for the post that I want because I've already done this tutorial before. It just wasn't recording. So I'm going to use the same one. This is the template I'm going to be using as an example. So tapping on that, it will bring me here to where all the editing will be taking place. At the very top, we have this home icon, and that's just to go back to the home screen. Then we have 3 dots here on the upper right hand corner. If you tap on that, you'll have some options. The very first here is to click on the pencil icon to change your title. Then below that, we have for you to be able to show the margins and show the print bleed. So if I click on show the margins, we have some added dotted lines around the edges here. And these dotted lines are just guidelines. They're not going to be in your final graphic design, and people just use these for printing purposes to keep things in line where they need to be. Let's move on to the next set of options. The first one is if you want to save your design. It automatically saves every few seconds, so you never have to worry about it. The next we have is save to a folder. We talked about folders earlier on in the video. You can add comments to a graphic design, and this is helpful if you're working with a team. This is the version history. So if you start making lots of edits to your design, but you want to go back to a previous version, you can always click here to find the version you want and restore it. Then you can make a copy here of this exact design. You can share it and you can resize it. Resize it is for Canva Pro as well, but I want to show you the usefulness of it in case you're interested. So remember, this is a Instagram graphic design, but if I wanted to use this same graphic design as a YouTube thumbnail, instead of creating one from scratch, I can always come here and click on resize. From there, you can choose your custom dimensions, or you can choose some that you've used recently down here. I'm going to click on the YouTube thumbnail. From here, you can either resize this exact image you're working on, or you can make a copy and resize it. So I'm going to tap on that one, and there we go. My other design, the Instagram post, was automatically saved, and here's a brand new one that is a little bit longer in length because this is customized for a YouTube thumbnail size. And now all I have to do is come in, tap on the elements, hold and drag them to where I want. So tap, hold and drag, and you're just kind of adjusting things a bit, but the main elements of the design are still here, and this makes it easy for you to use the same design across different platforms without needing to start from scratch. And now we're back where we were before, and I'm going to move on to the next option, which is these 3 pages here. This is the resize option again, so we'll skip that. And then this download and upload options we'll talk about when we're done editing this template. For now, let's move on to the 3 dots that are on top of each of these pages. If I tap on that, we have a copy and we have a plus next to it. If I click on copy, it's going to give me another page that looks exactly like this. If I click on add, it's going to give me a blank page. Let's go ahead and click on copy. And now we have even more options above this page. We have a number 2 and we have a title page here that you can add. So I'm going to go ahead and put in Kalani because this is what I'm going to be turning this image into, my dog Kalani image, instead of this one. But then above that we also have these arrows, so you can move pages around. Now Kalani is at number 1, but if I click this over arrow, now it moved it back to number 2. You can make a copy, as we said earlier. You can trash this page, or you can add a new blank page. And to easily switch between pages to look at different pages, you just click and swipe over. So this is number 1. Let's go ahead and name this original so that you remember that this is what the original image looks like. And then swiping over, number 2, we have Kalani. We're going to be transforming this. You can always click on the page view option at the bottom left if you want to see everything at a glance. Here we have number 1, number 2. This plus button is for you to add a new page. You see it added a blank page, but you can always select it and click the trash icon at the bottom. You can copy, add a new page, comments. To start editing the template, you're basically going to tap on the element. So here is a shape. That's an element. This text is an element, this image is an element, and depending on which one you click, you'll be presented with different editing options here. So for this image, we can do different things. With the text, we can do different things, and same thing with these shapes. Let's start off with the shape. You can tap and hold to move it around. If you want to make the size bigger, just hold one of the corners and stretch it out, and that's how you can make it bigger. And then here at the bottom, the first option you have, of course, is to trash it, to make a copy of it so that you have 2 here. You can also change the color. The first one is document colors. That's the first set that you have here, and these are colors that are already in the design you're working on. Then below that we have my main palette. Remember, we talked about adding brand color palettes, so that's what this is here. Then we have photo colors, so these are the colors that are on the actual photo here. Then we have default colors, and then if you scroll all the way to the top, you see this rainbow looking square. Here you can tap and move this circle around here and move the slider over and just work to get a unique color that you want. You can also use this color picker here. Just tap on it and just move this around until you find the color on this design that you want. So let's say I wanted this brownish color, and then click done here on the bottom right, and it will change that to the color that I chose with the color picker. We're going to go ahead and change these circles to this pink color. Scribbles, we're going to go ahead and change those to like a blue color. And change the star doodle up here to a yellow and just resizing it to make it a little bigger. Moving along to the text, I'm going to tap on that. And the first thing we'll have to do is stretch out this text. You can make it bigger by stretching out the circles on the corners like this, but you can also stretch out this actual text box. So if I click on the line that's beside it instead and stretch it out, you'll see that my introducing text at the top went to a single line. If we make this text box smaller, then it's going to cut my text off. The first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and make a copy by clicking the bottom left plus little icon here. Once you tap inside the text box, you'll get a cursor and you can start editing the text. I'm going to delete the Bailey part, and at the bottom we're going to change that entire text for it to say Kalani. I'm making two separate text boxes because I want the top text to be a different color, different fonts, and have different effects than this Kalani one. If you want text to be different, you'll have to use separate text boxes. If you put it all in one text box, it's not going to allow you to customize each one individually. Now I'm ready to move this Kalani text toward the top, but to get it out of the cursor mode, just tap on a blank space in your design and then you can tap and hold and move it. Now let's talk about some of these other editing options you have with the text. The first we've been talking about is the trash and the copy, but then if you click on edit here, it'll take you to this cursor mode where you can delete and retype your text. But next to that we have the font. So right now the one that is in use is called Hussar Bold, but if you tap on that you can go ahead and scroll and find a different one you like. I'm going to go with this intro script here. And then we have size of the font. Remember, you can always just tap and hold a corner and stretch it out to increase the font, but you can also come here and use the slider to find the size font you want. Next is the color of your font. Right now it's this orange red color, but I am going to go ahead and change it to a bright pink. Then we have your bolding options here. You can bold and unbold depending on the font you have. Some will allow you to italicize and bold, some will not, so just keep that in mind. Then we have position of the text here. You can center it, left align it, right align it, but I guess this is more useful for when you're making long text like an ebook or something like that. This lowercase a with a capital A, this is just a fast way to make all your letters capital at once or lowercase at once. Then you also have the option to make a bullet list, numbered list, or not, and again that's useful for larger lengthy documents. Here on this arrow that's going up and down, this is to increase the space of your lines. Kalani is a single line, but I'm going to tap and click edit so that it can give me the cursor, and I'm going to click my space button to give me a second line, and now I'm going to add in her last name. If I go back to that option of the up and down arrow, I can show you what it does. So right now the line spacing is 1.15. If I increase it, it's going to add some space between those two lines. If I decrease it, it's going to make them come close together. So that's the purpose of the line height. And then the same thing with the letter spacing. That's going to give space between your letters or make them come closer together. But moving along to the options we're talking about, the next one is effects. If you tap on that, here you can add different effects to your text. They have one called shadow, which will look like that. They have one called lift, hollow, splice, echo, flow, glitch, we have this neon, and you can also curve your text. The one I like using most is the splice, where it just kind of gives an outline to your text. And once you choose the effect that you want, which by the way, you can only choose one at a time. You cannot mix and match. Sometimes I wish you could, but you can't. So the next best thing is to edit the effect. And you can get to those options by clicking these three little lines that are inside each of the effects. And then you'll get your editing options. They're different for each of the effects, but for this one, you can increase the thickness of the outline, and you can also mess with the offset. So if you want the outline to be even and not like offset 3D like, you can decrease this to 0, and you can make the direction 0 as well. And that will make it clean lines so that it's not in a 3D effect. This color refers to the color inside the text. The outside, the outline, is what I chose to begin with. So for example, if I change this introducing text to the splice effect, the outline will be red and the inside would be pink. And so that's how you manage these colors. First, choose your outline color, then add the effect, and then you can choose the inside color here. And that is it for the effects. We're about to move on to the image and the options you have there. But first, I'm going to make some edits to this introducing text above. Okay, now let's move on to talk about some of the options we have with images. I'm going to tap on the image and select it. And we're going to skip over to where it says replace. Here at the top, you have some options. You can replace it with a photo you have uploaded from your gallery. You can choose a photo that they have here from their large library of photos. You can search for something. Down here, they have trending stuff. You can replace it with a video, or you can replace it with something that's already in your gallery. But we're going to go to upload, and we're going to search for the Kalani picture I uploaded previously, which is right here. So that went ahead and replaced the image. Next to replace, we have effects. Here's where you can access the background remover, and just tap on it and it will start working. It'll take just a minute, but eventually you'll have a clear background. Next to effects, we have filter. Here you can choose some of the filters they have available, but I'm not going to choose any. I'm gonna leave it as none, but I am going to click on this adjust option and adjust the brightness a little bit. You can also adjust the contrast, the saturation. You can blur things. Next to adjust, we have crop, and here's where you can cut out some parts of your photo. Here we have the blue square that is going around. If you stretch out this picture, anything that is outside of this grid lines will be cut off. So I'm going to go ahead and click done, just so you see what it looks like by clicking this check mark on the bottom right, and you see that it cut off everything that was outside the grid. But I don't want that, so I'm just going to click on this back arrow next to the home option to undo that. That's the way crop works. And then you also have the option to flip your picture horizontally or vertically. And position is something that's available for all the previous elements that we've been talking about, but let me show you how it works now. Position refers to where you want the element selected in regards to all the other elements. So right now I'm going to click and hold and move it here by this circle. This image is now behind the circle and behind even this doodle here. If I wanted to move to the front of these elements, then you can either tap to front and it will move it to the front right away, or you can click forward and it will move it to the front one element at a time. So you're going to have to keep clicking until it's all the way in the front. That's what position does. Copy style is basically just that, to copy the style of an element onto another one. So it doesn't really apply to this picture, but I'm going to tap on this Kalani text and I'm going to scroll and find copy style. The inside is now shaded black. That means it's copied. And whatever I tap next, it's going to make that the same style. So if I tap on introducing, you see that it changed introducing to the same style as Kalani. The font, the effect, everything is the same. But now I'm going to click on this back button to get it back to the way it was. Next to the copy style, we have this transparent option here. Right now it's at 100, but if you scoot it over, it'll start making it a little less light for you. And this is also available with the shapes and the text as well. Then we have the link option. You can enter a link when someone taps on this picture. It will redirect them to that link, and this is most useful for like ebooks or lengthy documents where you want people to be able to click off the graphic to a link. And then this very useful feature at the very end, this lock button, if you tap on it, it will keep this image locked in place. So now if I tap and try to move it, it will not let me. And that is useful sometimes because once you have a lot going on in a graphic, things start moving out of place when you didn't mean for them to. So that's why that is helpful. But I'm going to go ahead and unlock it. I'm going to tap and hold and move it over to the side just so I can get to the box behind it. It is white, and I'm going to change the color to this blue color just so that Kalani can be shown a little more. I'm going to stretch her out a bit and center her a little bit. The last thing we have to discuss is the editing options for the background of this graphic. But before we get into that, there's something I didn't get to touch on that I want to show you, and that is grouping elements together. So if I tap and hold on this pink circle here, you see it says one element selected. From there you can select multiple elements and it'll show you here how many you have selected. Once you do that, you're going to tap on done, and now those 3 elements are grouped together and you can edit them together. Here the dotted line, it'll show me that these are all grouped together. So if I tap and hold this circle icon, I can make them smaller all together, and I can move them around all together. And if you want to leave them permanently grouped together, then you'll just click on this group option at the bottom. And if you ever wanted to ungroup them, you can click this ungroup here at the bottom. But now let's talk about the final thing, and that is editing the background of a design. If you tap on a blank space of the background, you'll get your editing options down here, which are not that many, and some of them we've talked about, which is the lock button, the copy styles, the replace. If you click on replace, you'll just be able to change it out for one of your own images, Canva image. But one unique thing you can do is animate. So tap on animate here and you have your different animation options here. I'm going to tap on a few to let you see them, but I'm going to stick with this rise, and you can make it apply to all the pages. So remember, with this design we have 2 pages, and now at the top you'll have a new option, which is this play button. Let's go ahead and tap on that to see what it looks like. So it animated both of the pages for us. From here you can download or upload or click the X to exit here. By default, it will make the animation 5 seconds long, but if you tap on that, you can make it shorter and click done. So now that I've shown you how to edit text, elements, pictures, we're going to go over this plus button down here at the bottom right. And this plus button is to add things to your design. Instead of just editing whatever is already on there, you can add things. So to do that, I'm going to click these 3 dots at the top right and add a new blank page so that I can create a blank design from scratch. Alternatively, we could have gone back to the home screen and selected a blank design to start from scratch, but since we're here, I'll just do it with this 3rd new page added. Let's go ahead and click on this plus button, and here you have a bunch of different options of different things that you can add to your design. The first option are templates, which we've already touched on before, but if you wanted to pick a template right from here, you could. You can search for anything you want here. Our next options are up here at the top. If you just scroll, you'll find all of them. So instead of going back where we were to begin with, which was in this page where all our options are, we're just going to keep scrolling at the top as we go through each one. Uploads are the media that you import into Canva from your device, whether that's your computer or your phone. And then down here, they're divided into 3 different tabs: images, videos, and audio. So that's where you can find all of your uploads. And if you ever want to upload something, just click on this purple icon here and then it'll bring up your folders from your phone and the images where you can select what you want to upload here. Next, we have photos from the Canva library. Most of these options we're going to be talking about. You can search using any keywords, but there's also these three little toggle options right here to the right. And if you tap on that, you can search using filters. If you select a color, it'll only show you pictures with that color you selected. You can do square, vertical, horizontal, free or pro pictures. Select all of your options that you want to go with and click apply filters. Then we have elements, and these are divided into even further categories as you scroll through here. The first one is going to be your recently used elements, and then we have featured ones. So these are just popular holidays that are coming up and just things that are most used. Then we have lines, shapes, and frames. These frames here are basically photo holders. They also have animated stickers, charts, grids, which are again like photo holders. We have gradients, and you can always use the search option along with the filtered options here to find exactly what you're looking for. But I'm going to choose a frame to start creating our graphic, and to do that I'm going to click on this see all option here. And that brings us to all of the frames available. I'm going to go with this Polaroid picture here, and then it'll be added to our design. Moving back to this plus button, before we move on from the elements, I'm going to scroll through the recently used, and I'm going to select this one that says good times. And this is basically just an animated sticker. And remember that if you tap on this element down here, it'll tell you what's editable. So you cannot change the color of this. Sometimes you can, but on this particular one you cannot. And then you can crop, flip, and do other things down here. So I'm also going to add this equals right here, and then if I tap on this, you can see here at the bottom we have this square here, meaning we can change the color of this one. So I'm going to go ahead and do so. Back to the plus button at the bottom right. Now we're going to move on to the next option on our list. And here in text at the top is your simple heading. So a title, subheading, or body text. Or you can choose one that you've recently used, or you can choose font combinations, and these work just like templates. They're expertly prepared. Everything has been done for you. All you have to do is select it and go in and change what the text says and kind of adjust it to customize it and make it fit your precise needs. I'm just going to go ahead with some simple text. Click edit at the bottom, delete this, and put in best friends. And then I'm going to put the cursor between best and friends and click the enter button on my phone keyboard here so that it's in two separate lines, and then we can go ahead and make it bigger. And right now I want to tap and hold this text to scoot it over, but it's not letting me because it's on cursor mode. So to get rid of that, I'm going to tap on an empty space of this design, and now I can tap and hold to scoot it over. And now I'm going to be adjusting this text a bit. We've already covered extensively how to edit text, so I'm going to speed this portion up. We talked about all of these here, elements and text. Now let's move on to styles. Under styles, we have three tabs. We have all, colors, and fonts. We're going to stick with all, but just know that if you wanted to see just the color styles or just the font styles, you can choose those as well. So styles basically refers to different font and color combos that Canva has created so that all you have to do is click and be able to use them. Here we have Horizon font paired with Poppins bold font in these three colors. If I tap on that, it's going to edit my picture so that it has those colors and those fonts included. It changed my best friend's text to the Horizon text. It cannot change this text because it's a sticker, it's not text, but it also changed my background. So it'll basically edit your graphic that you have going on with these exact styles. Next to that, we have music. It works the same way as other things work. You can search, you can use the filters. Once you kind of select one, you will see if it says pro next to it, that means these are paid music. But of course, you can always filter up top here to get only free music. And I'm going to click on one that I recently used, which is Ready for Motion here. Once you tap on it, it will automatically be added to your graphic design. Here at the bottom, you can edit somewhat your music. What you can do is increase or decrease the volume. You can pause it, you can trash it, and also you can tap and hold and scoot it over so that it only plays a certain portion of the music. You can make it start all the way in the beginning, or tap and hold and scoot it over so that it starts playing at a different part of the music track. Moving along, next to music, we have video. Of course, you can always upload your own videos, but you can use these here that Canva has available for you. You can find so many neat things here, and you can use the search and filters to find what you need. I'm going to select this one that I recently used. Remember, this here is a grid. It is a Polaroid grid. So once you tap and hold either a video or a photo, it will automatically be dropped into the grid you chose. So they have grids for phones, laptops, and so many other things, and then you can just drop videos or photos inside so that it looks like it's coming from the actual phone or computer, whatever kind of grid you chose. And now if we tap on that video we just added inside, you'll see there's a play button. And down here are your editing options when it comes to this video. You can copy it, trash it, replace it. You can crop the video as well. So if I tap on that, I can stretch it out, and anything that is outside the grid lines that you see here, there are these faint white lines. Anything that's outside of that will be cropped out so that you can only keep a certain portion of the video. Click X if you want to undo it, or click the check mark if you want to accept that. And next to crop, we have this scissor, and here it will allow you to crop this video. There's this thick blue bar that's on each end of the video, so you can only crop the beginning or the end of the video. You cannot necessarily crop something out of the middle of the video, so just keep that in mind. So you can crop it and scoot it over and trim it. You can increase the volume or decrease it. You can change the position, which we talked about with the other elements. You can copy, change the transparency, add a link, or lock it so that it doesn't move around. Going back to the plus button, next to videos, we have gallery. And this will bring up pictures that you have on your phone that you may want to upload here. And then next to that, we have backgrounds. This is something we hadn't touched on, which is pretty self-explanatory. They have a lot of different kinds of backgrounds for you to choose from, and they have it divided into different categories here, but you can always search for a specific kind. I'm going to click on this recently used background here. I like this background. I just feel that it's too dark for the text and elements that I have going on here. So to fix that, what I'm going to do is click on this add button. We're going to tap on elements, then we're going to go to shapes. That will add this shape to the graphic, and we're going to change the color to white. We can go ahead and stretch it so that it fits the whole graphic. And then we're going to go to the editing options down here, and the first thing we can do is go to position and click on move to back so that it goes behind all of my elements. And then we're going to click on the transparency option, which is this checkered looking icon here, and we're going to decrease the transparency of it so that the background still peeks through over the white square I put on top of it, but it's not as prominent. And now we can finish off discussing the last few things here where this plus button is. Here we have folders. If you wanted to add something to this design from a different design you've created in the past, you can choose it from there. So you have all of these things that we've already talked about, but if you wanted to get even more fancy, you can click on this more option. There's so many things that are included here, so you may want to use the search option at the very top sometimes. They have Pexels and Pixabay, which are websites where you can get images from. You can embed anything from the internet. So if you tap on that, you'll see that you can embed TED Talks, YouTube videos, Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, Tumblr. And as you can see, every time I click on something from the More tab, it will be automatically added to my list of options here. So we have Pinterest and embeds listed here because I selected it from the More. So that way when you're creating your design, if you ever want to go back to one of these options, it's easy to do so because it's added to this list of options up here. And that is everything from this plus button, and we talked about how to edit these individual elements as well. Lastly, remember that you can always edit your background with animation. Right now this white square is on top, so it's not giving me the animation options, but if I move it slightly over out of the way, then I can go ahead and access the background, and from there we can add an animation. So let's go ahead and add the drift here, and then now that I've added the animation, I can go ahead and move my square back to where it was. Now I'm going to click on the play button to see this graphic in action. Now you'll just want to upload or download your design. So click on this up arrow here. The first option is to save this picture to your phone by clicking on Save As. You can download the video, share a link. You can save it as an image. You can save it with transparency, so only the text and the elements will be visible. Everything else will be transparent. You can present it. You can share it to Twitter, to email, to MailChimp. You also have the option to print your design on a t-shirt, on business cards, on a canvas, a poster, a flyer. You can print it on a mug and order it here, right here on Canva. But for now, we're just going to go with this save as the first option here. And then here you can select the file type, whether it's a MP4, PNG, a JPEG, a PDF if you're going to print it. We're going to leave it as a video format. Next, you can select the pages that you want. Remember, these are 3 pages, the original, the Kalani one, and the one we just created. So select the image that you want to download, or the video in this case, and just make sure there's a check mark next to it and click done. Go ahead and click download if you're ready to, and then it will start downloading it right to your phone. So now that you know exactly how to use Canva, you're well equipped to create endless graphics for your business and even your personal needs. But for even more Canva tutorials, check out the playlist that's on your screen right now. There's a web version tutorial included in that playlist. And that's all for me today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.